everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is India and today we are going to be doing our March 2020 reading wrap up. Okay, so like I was saying, today we're going to be doing our wrap up for the month of March. Is it super late? Is it always super late? Guys, what do you expect from me? I hope it's not on time things. But before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. Hit that like button because you're gonna like this video, and if you don't like it, you at least like me, right? And hit that bell notification button so you never miss anything. But let's get going. The month of March, before life got a little wild and crazy in there. Like got a little cray-cray, you know, didn't it? It did. See, this was a very interesting reading month. It was a lot of all over the place. All over the place. So, to start off, I finished Her Cocky Firefighters, the Cocky series, #2 by Tara Crescent. This followed the Her Cocky Doctors. This one is in the same small town of Goat, if I remember correctly. This one following the last female lead's best friend who's moving into Goat, and like 6 years previous had a one-night stand with these firefighters. Had a one-night stand with these firefighters and never expected to see them again 6 years later. But here they are in the town of Goat, and we're gonna see where their lives take them, you know? Yeah, it's an MFM romance, and it was good. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. 4 out of 5 stars. And y'all, I'm just letting you know from experience, that not all firefighters look like the ones that are portrayed in books. I am just throwing that out there now. Just letting you know. Once again, from experience. So, just let it ride. Next up was A Lesson in Thorns by Sierra Simone. Y'all know, if y'all ever read Sierra Simone, you know this was some deep shit. Literally some deep shit. So much happens in this because it's like, there's just, you're like, is this gonna be paranormal related? I don't know. I can't tell. It might be paranormal related, but then it's also like dom sub romance. It's also like there might be a little bit of BDSM in there, a little, you know, there's a lot going on in A Lesson in Thorns, and it's actually really hard to summarize this because there's a lot of characters, and it all has to do with this old house and family ties, and how all these people's parents basically set this group of friends up for what they're in now. Some shit. So, an emotional trauma and just not being able to deal with life well. It's a lot. It's always fun when your battery dies. You're ready to do something, and then your camera battery is just like, nope, you didn't charge me. You didn't charge me. You have to find the other one, find the charger. But I think I was talking about A Lesson in Thorns by Sierra Simone, and it was just a lot. I think I already said that, but it was a lot. A lot happening, a lot going on. A lot of this, a lot of that. Of course, it's Sierra Simone smut. So, be ready whenever you dive into Sierra Simone. You gotta be ready. Be ready for anything, okay? You gotta accept it. I don't remember there being any trigger warnings for this book. Like, none that just, like, stand out. 'Cause sometimes her stuff is kind of heavy. So, I don't remember any right now. Next up was and I gave that book 4 stars. Next up was House of Earth and Blood, Crescent City #1 by Sarah J. Maas, which I gave 5 stars to, which you guys already know because I have done a reading blog for this book and I have done a 2-minute book review for this book as well, so you guys already know that. So go check it out. I am not going to give you guys another synopsis of this book, but you guys know I love it. I love this book. It's so good. It's so good. The next one I read was Bumbled. Bumbled by Alexa Martin. This was the playbook #2. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. This is another sports romance by Alexa Martin, following another girlfriend of a pro athlete, pro football player. This time they are actually high school sweethearts that ended up having to break up and separate due... It's not miscommunication, because it's not miscommunication on the couple's part. It's kind of meddling by the mom, by the parent. And so then a child is involved this time, and basically it is a child unbeknownst to the other parent, and it goes from there. I just really enjoy Alexa Martin's books. Alexa Martin's book. I did that right. Maybe. I really enjoyed them. They're really easy to read. They're always a lot of fun. They share a lot of social dynamics, especially in this one. And also, this one followed, if you are into sports medicine like I am, I don't know if you're into sports medicine like I am, this followed a lot of stuff about TCE and concussions and things like that in pro athletes and in general. So I enjoyed that aspect of the book, as well as the relationship involved. Alexa Martin books are just really, they're easy to read, they're fun to enjoy, and they're just good. They're just good. Not very smutty. Not very smutty, but you know, enough. It's enough for the story. You aren't lacking in it. Next up was a short Kindle Unlimited book, I think. Let me see how many pages this thing was. Ugh. And it was just, okay. This thing was, fuck. But it was It was The Scottish Billionaires and the Bookaholic, by Shay Sullivan. I gave this book 3 stars, okay? It is a MFM romance, and it's supposed to be like this girl wins an entry competition for a book con in Scotland, which is awesome. It's one she's always wanted to go to, and it's one like her biggest author idol she puts on every year in Scotland. But I'm trying to remember why I didn't like, I mean, there are a lot of reasons why I didn't like it, but then like it turns out that the author's brother and brother's best friend kind of rigged the contest a little bit, because the main author and the runner of the book con, she has a rule of who they can and cannot date. They cannot date anybody who pays for the book. Like anybody who pays to come to the book convention, they cannot hit on or date or anything like that. That is her rule. So they found a loophole with the competition by bringing someone over for free. So, but anyway, it is definitely sexy. It is definitely sexy. Like, if you're looking for quick and sexy, this is it. As far as, like, the story, you know, how is it played? How is it, like, I guess, like, as a bookaholic, like a lot of us are, I guess I expected more book stuff. I don't know, like, we didn't get to see that much of the con or anything like that, and then, you know, the only, like, relatable thing was that she had suitcases on suitcases on suitcases of books to send back to her. And then she's also like an author. I felt like there was a lot going on in a short amount of time with a little bit amount of development. And I know there's something I'm just not remembering right now that just really stuck out to me, that knocked it down, and it had to deal with books and like the bookish life. Not necessarily with the romance and things like that. The romance was cool, you know, it had ups and downs. It was miscommunication romance, and one of those like you hurt my trust romances and things like that. But there was something in like the bookish realm of things that just brought it down for me, that I just didn't enjoy. But it wasn't bad. It just wasn't good. Ooh. Next up, we went from 3 stars to 5 stars in the same day. I just sat in bed and read all day. The next up was A Promise of Fire, Kingmaker Chronicles #1 by Amanda Bouchette. I got this, I took this recommendation when Steph did her video about female characters that we love. I forget who recommended it in her video, but there were a lot of good recommendations from other booktubers in that video, and this one was one that was recommended, and they did not disappoint with this recommendation. I loved it. I devoured this book in a day. It's so cool. It is a fantasy romance, or a romance fantasy. I'm gonna say romance fantasy because it's a romance that is fantastical, versus like YA fantasy that has romance. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. But it is really awesome. You know, our main character is Kat. She is basically hiding from her past until she gets found out by what is known as a beta, basically the second person in command, and not only the beta, but also is a warlord who has gone through and basically took the kingdom from the corrupt and is trying to make it a better place. But she is a weapon in and of herself, and so she has been living her life trying not to be captured after having a very, very tough past with her own family. And it is just so good, y'all. Like, and if you're really into like mythology and things like that, like, then this is for you, because there's a lot of mythology aspects to it. Like, brush up on your names and what they do and who they are. And of course now my puppers wants to play. She never wants to play with me. And then Kat is so good, and then the tension between her and Beta just get really good, and I love it a lot. I don't know. I devoured this shit. Like, and then I started to read the second one, and I haven't finished the second one because you guys know I'm really bad at series. I'm really bad at series because I can like see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I don't like the light. I don't like my dog pushing my tripod either, but I don't like the light at the end of the tunnel because that means it's almost over, but it's so good. It is so good. I would definitely pick it up and read it. Let me read this 1-star review. Okay, see, these are reviews I don't understand. Like, these are the type of reviews I don't understand. Maybe you also shouldn't read 1-star reviews of books that you like, but like, you know, they're saying like the book is problematic, and like the review says, on top of that, the fat griffin is physically abusive to Kat, and since they are attached by a magic rope and he's a big strong male, she would constantly fall down and express pain. Like, yeah, she's a captive. She's been taken captive. The warlord has taken something. Like, I don't get it. They would also blatantly physically fight. Granted, this girl is also an assassin. She can hold her own. Trying to make the male protagonist look feisty. And he would physically try to get her to submit multiple times. Yeah, like in wrestling, you get someone to submit instead of killing them. Submit, kill, submit, kill. Oh, and let's not forget that the whole starting plot of this story is that he kidnapped her. Yes, literally. The main character is that's not a spoiler, is what's known as a Kingmaker. She can detect lies She can detect lies when people tell them. So she's been hiding out in the circus, basically doing that as a magical gypsy, in a world where there is half magic, half non-magic right now. And so literally her whole life is spent running away because lots of people are out there to kidnap her. And he is the first and the only one to succeed. The warlord, because he's Beta. And he is Beta Griffin, the warlord, who has been taking down cities one by one like a champ. So I just feel like for this reviewer, maybe you shouldn't read things about war and conflict. Because those things aren't problematic. There was never non-consensual sex. There was never physical or emotional abuse. To him, she's literally a nobody, except for someone who can get their rule up higher, like any political hierarchy anywhere in the world. It's probably going on right now in any one of our countries. So don't read 1-star reviews of books and pick them apart. Shit don't make no sense. Shit don't make no sense. Maybe people feel this way because we aren't used to seeing female prisoners. And most of the time we're only used to seeing male prisoners. Like not sex slaves, like nothing like that, like prisoners in jail. And so we get too emotionally abused or too emotionally attached to when a female is taken prisoner versus when a man is taken prisoner. Because if a man was dragged through the desert by a rope, we wouldn't be feeling these things. We wouldn't. And you couldn't even tell me that you would, because you wouldn't. So maybe we should think about that. But this is supposed to be a wrap up, and I got really sidetracked with that because y'all can't preach equality and feminism about the happy things and not about the angry things too. Like, a prisoner is a prisoner is a prisoner. Someone who's kidnapped is kidnapped is kidnapped. But like I said, they're like rape culture. There was no rape in this book. None whatsoever. Ever. But she is a prisoner. And book 2 starts off really good too. Let me move on. Next up, and my last book for March is The Gathering by L.A. Fiore. Am I doing that right? L.A. Fiore? It is now. This is The Gathering, the Ivy Blackwood Chronicles. This was another 5-star read. This one was crazy. This one, Steph and I kind of did a buddy read for. It's so good. It is told from 3 character points of view, though. Which took me by surprise because she told me to listen to it on Audible first. And so I am like listening to it on Audible. And I haven't opened like the book at all. I didn't even get the book yet. So I hadn't opened the book at all. So I didn't know how it was formatted. I didn't know there was 3 characters for it. But this one was so good. So it follows 3 characters in Louisiana. And there's so much magic involved. And I was surprised Steph recommended this book because it's not romance. It's not romance at all. Like, I mean, sure, it's like an underlying current of romance, but this is more on the fantasy with romance side. And so, but there's 3 characters involved. It follows the sheriff, this woman who's locked up in a psych facility, and why can't I remember her name right now? Ivy Blackwood. The whole series is about her. So it follows the sheriff. It's not Jebediah. It is something like real crazy though. Like real like old school South. But it's Josiah, not Jebediah. Josiah. And Bane, the werewolf. Because there's a werewolf. There's also demons and magic, and once again, mythology is involved in here, which is so cool. Like, and the 7 deadly sins are involved in here, and it is such a mind blast. Like, it was so much fun to read, and it takes a while to get into it. It does. It takes a while. But like, you have to keep reading. And I had to finally get it on Kindle so I could get to the different formats, though the Audible version is very great. They change up the accents very well. It's done with the cast. And you get the full New Orleans accent, and there's witches and covens, and the world's coming to an end, and we gotta save the world. Guys, you guys know I'm so bad at doing these things. But we gotta save the world, guys. And you gotta push through, because there's so many times where I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what is happening? What is going on? I don't know. I'm confused. I don't know. And then little pieces start to just piece together and bring together until you are just putting all these pieces together and you are solving this fantastical mystery, and it's so good. And it's the last bit that just, you're just like, okay, I love this book. It took a little bit. It took me a little bit. But it's that last bit that you're like, okay, I do love it. I loved how we needed all that separation to really get to this point. We really did. I am really frustrated there's not a book 2. Though it's wide open for a book 2. It was like she just decided not to do this anymore. So I was like, when you just decided not to do this anymore, we need to do this some more. But anyway, guys, that's gonna be it for me for this reading March wrap up. Sorry, we got a little distracted there in the middle. I think we need to come back around to that topic at a later date, not right now. We have more videos to record today, so I can give you guys the content that you deserve. No, I'm not drunk. Yet. But anyway, guys, that is it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit that like button down below. Hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that bell notification button so you never miss anything. Follow me on all of the socials, and until next time, keep turning the pages.